Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. If you're a focused learner looking to actually decode the true mechanics of the market, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're demystifying order blocks. We're going to reveal the true institutional footprint, completely take the guesswork out of your charts, and replace it all with strict mechanical rules. So, let's start with the scenario that, honestly, you're probably agonizingly familiar with. You've spent time studying the charts, right? You find what looks like this absolutely perfect order block. You draw your box, set your pending order, and then, bam, price slices right through it, stopping you out as if your level wasn't even there. It's incredibly frustrating, and it leaves you sitting there wondering, why on earth do most of these setups fail?
Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off here. The harsh reality, most of those boxes you're drawing on your charts, they aren't order blocks at all. They're literally just market noise. We're talking low-volume consolidation zones with zero actual institutional backing. Because without strict validation rules, you aren't trading with smart money. You're just guessing.
So here is our roadmap for getting you from confusion to total clarity. 1. The institutional footprint. 2. The 3 golden rules. 3. Refining the entry point. 4. Breakers and mitigation blocks. And finally, 5. The reality of risk.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1. The institutional footprint. What's really fascinating to think about is the stark contrast between traditional retail concepts and true smart money concepts. Traditional support and resistance, that relies entirely on price memory, horizontal levels where price just happened to bounce before. But true order blocks, they represent actual institutional accumulation or distribution. Massive banks simply cannot enter the market all at once without moving the price against themselves, right? So they accumulate orders in a very specific zone. The order block is the exact candle footprint they leave behind right before triggering a massive move.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 3 golden rules.
Listen closely, because for an order block to be considered valid, it absolutely must meet all 3 of these strict criteria. First up, it has to create an inefficiency, what we commonly call a fair value gap. Second, that move needs to result in a break of structure or a market structure shift. And third, the zone has to remain unmitigated, meaning price hasn't already come back down to test it. If even one of these is missing, you don't have a valid order block.
Let's zoom in on the absolute most critical of those 3 for a second, the fair value gap. Basically, it's a price imbalance formed by super aggressive movement. You're looking for a specific 3-candle sequence. If the market moves so fast that there is a literal, physical, unfilled space between the wick of the first candle and the wick of the third candle, that's your gap. It is the undeniable telltale footprint of heavy institutional momentum.
And when you actually validate this in real market action, the pattern becomes crystal clear. Think about a bearish order block. It's that final stubborn bullish candle right before a massive structure-breaking drop. Conversely, a bullish order block is just the last bearish candle before a huge upward surge. In these validated zones, the really large players laid down their footprint right before a sharp breakaway.
Okay, into Section 3, refining the entry point.
A lot of traders completely miss incredible setups because they're stubbornly waiting for price to perfectly retrace to the absolute extreme edge of their order block. But here's the secret. Institutional order flow doesn't always need full mitigation. Enter a concept called consequent encroachment. This is the exact 50% equilibrium level of a fair value gap. Price actually reacts violently right at this midpoint all the time, which lets you capture amazing setups even during really shallow retracements.
And right alongside that, we have the mean threshold. Now, while consequent encroachment applies to the gap we just talked about, the mean threshold applies to the order block itself. It's simply the 50% equilibrium level of the order block's total range. Inner Circle Trader or ICT strategies rely heavily on this. You basically measure the high and low of the order block, mark that 50% line, and boom. That becomes a highly refined decision point for your entries, or a strict line in the sand for where your stop loss absolutely should not be violated.
All right, shifting gears to Section 4, breakers and mitigation blocks.
So both of these concepts involve price coming back to retest an old order block, but the outcomes, totally different. A mitigation block is essentially a continuation trade. The original order block holds firm. Price retraces to it, respects it, and continues right on in the original direction. A breaker block, though, is a reversal trade, which means the original order block totally fails. And the absolute single most important diagnostic tool to tell them apart? The candle body close. If the body closes past the block, it's a breaker. If it holds, you've got a mitigation.
To visualize a bearish breaker, just track the price action. Imagine price pushes up to create a high, drops back down, and then aggressively pushes back up to sweep all that buy-side liquidity resting above the old high. In doing so, it actually violates the old bearish order block, completely trapping breakout buyers before immediately reversing and repricing lower. That failed order block, it now acts as a resistance level for a massive short trade.
Now let's flip that and look at how this builds into the exact inverse scenario, the bullish breaker. See how price drops to sweep the sell-side liquidity sitting below an old low? It violates a bullish order block in the process. This entirely traps retail sellers who panic and think the market is crashing, right before the market aggressively reprices higher. The broken block is then retested, but this time it acts as rock-solid support for a massive continuation upwards.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the reality of risk. 68%. I really want that number to sink in for a second. According to data from CMC Markets, 68% of retail investor accounts lose money trading these markets. Order blocks and institutional footprints are incredibly, undeniably powerful concepts, but they are probabilistic tools. They are not magic crystal balls. Without strict risk management, you are just going to become part of that 68% statistic.
So to protect your capital, you have to adhere rigidly to these core rules. First, always, and I mean always, place your stop loss beyond the order block extreme and give it a small buffer. If you place it right on the pip, you're going to get wicked out. Target logical liquidity zones. Don't just aim for imaginary home runs. Wait for lower time frame confirmations, like a sudden market structure shift before you jump in. And finally, never ever trade capital you cannot afford to lose. Leverage amplifies your risk, so your discipline is quite literally your only true defense.
Which leaves us with one final provocative question that you need to ask yourself the very next time you pull up your charts. Are you trading with the institutional footprint, or are you the liquidity? Apply these rigorous filters, the gaps, the structure shifts, the risk rules, and stop trading the noise. Thanks so much for joining this explainer. Now get out there and go trade the footprint.